Update. I ran from my abusive ex and I think he found me. Original post. I, 27 female, ran from my abusive ex when I was 4 months pregnant. I got into a different state, legally changed my name, and I didn't name my child the name we had agreed on. He didn't know my social or my ID number, so the only way he had of tracking me down was my name. But that was gone, long gone. I had signed into DV Safe Haven shelters to get into my own place and find a job. I had built a great life for me and my child. I had planned running from him for a little over a year because it felt like my only way out. But he would always find me and drag me back. He made it out too. If I don't take my depression meds, I act out and tried to harm myself. The police ended up believing him and became of no help. They brushed off all 4 of my DV calls as simple disagreements. I had saved up just a little over $10K in a bank account my mom had set up to help me get away and come to her so he wouldn't find out about how much money I really had. My dad helped mostly by putting in a lot more than what I could. He would get suspicious and ask where all my money was going, and I would pass it off as bills. In my new town, I've made very few people aware of my situation. It's people that could help if something was to happen. These past 2 months, I've been being watched by someone unknown. He's always wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, but I could swear on my life it's my ex. I ended up leaving work a few times due to having panic attacks from seeing the guy. He never interacts with me, only my coworkers. He waits until I'm out of earshot to speak to order, and he gives different names for his orders. My coworkers have thought it was strange because he comes in almost every other day for a week straight for the past 2 months using different names. After this, I went to the police station to speak to one of the people I made friends with and is aware of my situation. He said he would have patrol officers drive by my house and keep a lookout. I never seen him around my house or drive by it. Then I started getting letters in the mail that is, I believe, is from him. They're not signed, and the envelope only ever has my old name and new address on it. The letters consist of him saying I love you and miss you, but never goes into detail about who is writing them. I took them to the police station and officer I'm friends with, and he told me I need to find another place to stay for a while and file for a restraining order. I then made a fake social media account and messaged one of my old friends. They said they were glad to hear from me. They are glad I'm okay and that he's been trying to report us missing, which I had already knew. That he's still there working his old job, but he does go on week-long trips, and nobody knows where he's going on them. What's keeping us from becoming a missing persons case is my mom. Police had contacted her and she told them everything. She showed them proof that I was in fact alive and doing well. She explained why I ran, but she said she wouldn't disclose my location. They ended up contacting me to confirm the story my mom gave them. The police finally, after all this time, believed me. They asked me if I wanted to come back to file charges or a restraining order. I told them no, that I want to stay where I'm at and to stay as far as I can from him. Yesterday I had missed my mailman, and he left a slip that I need to sign for a letter. I haven't ordered or requested anything to have to sign for. I'm not on any government benefits or having any court case going on. So I reactivated the fake Facebook and messaged my old friend again. She said she hasn't heard anything but she'll ask. I keep it active, and she messaged me early this morning. She said that there is some talk that he knows where I'm at, and he's thinking about going to court and take me for custody. I asked her if I would get it via mail and would have to sign for it. And she said she isn't sure, that I would have to ask the post office. I left the letter there all day yesterday at the post office, instead of calling them and picking it up. I don't think I want to go pick it up. I don't want to face the possible truth that he has found me. I don't want to go back to that town, and I don't want to go back to my old life. I don't want to relive the nightmare I had finally escaped. I don't know what to do at this point. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Go back and file charges against him. You need to do this to help protect your child. It sounds like he has found you, so you need a paper trail with the police. Your time in DV housing will help support your claims against him. I wish you the best. Be safe. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but men who are being accused of abuse are way more likely to get full custody in America, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure it's the same when the ex hasn't met the kid, but it's normal for experts to recommend placing the child with the abuser rather than the mother who alienates the other parent. This isn't to freak Opie out, but talk to a lawyer before doing anything else. Because it's always, from what I've seen, recommended to not bring up abuse in court cases because it dramatically increases the likelihood of losing. Go back and file charges. Also, report him for stalking. I believe that he has found you. People like him don't usually give up so easily. Also, since I'm very petty, I would post all over social media the images and proof that he is abusive and a liar. I would also ask the police where you live now to have a cop car drive by your job and place, just in case they see him and have proof that he is following you and harassing you. The social media thing isn't petty. She did say he's been involved with DV since. Sharing it on social media can save others from getting involved with him and also bring out other victims of his to corroborate her story. I'm in contact with a few people because I heard he's been with a few since I left, and I'm reaching out along with my lawyer. Now for the first update. I just want to say thank you first for all the kind words and advice you all have given me. After I made this post, I went to work. When I got to work, they said a guy came in looking for me, and they described my ex. They kept telling him I don't work there, and if he comes back, they'll have him arrested, because apparently he threw a big fit when they said I don't work there. I was given permission to leave to seek legal help. I went to my friend's that's a cop, and got me in contact with a few lawyers. I had spoken to one, and is taking my case. He filed stalking, harassment, and DV charges against him. He has also filed a civil protection order. They issued a warrant, and cops are now combing the area to find him. They all have his picture and name, and they aren't going to stop until they have him in custody. I sat and cried because this has been my life for the past almost 5 years since I ran, that is trying to ruin. Where I live, they rule in favor of the mother when it comes to DV cases. Apparently, since I left, he was with someone that filed charges against him for DV too, and it got dropped. Thank you so much for all the kind words and advice. I appreciate it beyond words. Now for the second update. Here is the long-awaited update. He was caught that late night/early morning when he ran a stoplight heading back home. He was processed and sat in his cell, waiting to appear in front of the judge on his warrant for DV, which was that following Thursday. When he got arrested and processed, they served him the CPO. As he was being processed, he obviously made his phone call. He had called his dad and told him everything, but his dad told him he didn't raise a woman beater and that he wasn't bailing him out. They also seen he had another warrant that had been issued a few days prior back home. Apparently, the girl he was with left him while he was away and pressed DV charges against him as well. I'm not sure what they'll do with him now that he has charges in 2 different places, or how that will work. He had appeared in front of the judge on Thursday and said they were holding him on a $100K bail because they considered him dangerous and an extreme flight risk. He sat there until the following Tuesday, when he was released to the other police department that they had contacted to let them know. He is now currently up there waiting for his bond to be set. They said he's most likely not getting one from them, but will sit there. He was made to serve 30 days in jail on his warrant back home. Cops had said he probably won't be let loose pending both trials, due to the circumstances surrounding his case and him being extremely dangerous while being a flight risk. They are going to do their best to keep him in jail until his convictions in both cases. He has CPO issued against him in both. I asked them to keep my name redacted out of everything, just in case this leaks to the media. I have purchased a gun, bear spray, and other forms of protection. We have moved and still in contact with a cop that I was friends with. For the first time in a long time, I finally feel free and I can live without fear. Sorry for making you guys wait for an update. Last story. I, 37 female, inadvertently outed my soon-to-be ex-husband, 36 male, and our daughter, 14 female, won't speak to me anymore. We were together for 16 years. Nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the fact that he was having unprotected sex with men for the last 7 years of our marriage. There were no red flags. He was always caring, attentive, a good listener, a generous lover. I thought I found my soulmate, as cliche as it sounds. Hardworking, responsible, encouraged me to finish my degree while he worked and daughter was in school. It's been 6 months of divorce proceedings, and I still feel like I'm trapped in someone else's nightmare. I found his secret phone when we were moving house. At first, I thought one of his friends must have forgotten theirs when they were helping us back up some things. But as I picked it up, I accidentally clicked the side button and the screen lit up with a picture of him and a man kissing. I tried his passcode and it worked. I'll spare you the long and many details. But yes, he is either gay or bisexual and has had multiple long-term relationships with various men, as well as plenty of hookups. At least 20 to 30 different men with whom he had unprotected whilst having sex with me at home. I'm embarrassed to admit that I vomited after reading all that correspondence. I'm not homophobic. His family is very liberal, blue voting, with multiple people openly gay. My family is very accepting. We attended pride events with my younger siblings for Pete's sake. Why the hiding? Why the sneaking? I filed for divorce and it turned into a vindictive monster that fought me on everything. From the custody of our daughter to a set of fancy vintage porcelain figurines. He made outlandish claims that I was to reimburse for the amount he paid for my studies from the marital budget. Me and my lawyer spent many days reading the crap he sent through his lawyer. Ultimately, due to inability to reach an agreement, we went in front of a judge. It went about as well as you'd think it did. He and his lawyer, one of the men he was cheating with apparently, spewed absolute absurd nonsense that I was a negligent parent, I didn't deserve a family. I'm a wronged, greedy trophy wife, whatever that is. Ultimately, me and my lawyer brought up the fact that he continuously put my health at risk by engaging in irresponsible behaviors. What was soon to be ex's response? Oh well, I was in prep for 3 years. Needless to say, it was a crap show. The judge sided with me. I guess all these times I wondered where my bacterial vaginosis and yeast infections come from. Finally paid off. Additionally, the judge ordered supervised visitation and for all communication to be through a special parenting app because soon-to-be ex had to be escorted out of the courtroom due to shouting and disruptive behavior, and judge thought he might turn violent eventually. Out of sheer luck, I think I do not have any STD, but I'm still scared. I feel disgusting and violated, and I'm going to have to get tested every month for the next 6, per advice of my OBGYN. And the cherry on top, I'm not sure how, but his escapades got out and into the extended family. Most of the gay folks on both sides essentially cut him off, with one of the older uncles showing up to his job to berate him. His own father apparently called to scream at him, and his mother's health is getting worse due to stress. My daughter is now angry at me that I outed him. She, in a very Gen Z teenage fashion, is giving me the cold shoulder because I could have ruined his life. She's in therapy already and that does not seem to be helping at all. If anything, she's now using pop psychology lingo she hears there to berate me instead. She seems to not understand that his behavior put me at high risk of contracting an incurable disease. Not to mention that cheating? That hurts. I remember being 7 or 8 years old and hearing my mom cry because of her art college friends were dying of AIDS. I remember the marches. I remember being 12 or 13 and my dad giving me and my siblings a speech about the importance of condoms and how they might literally prevent us from dying young. And yes, HIV isn't a death sentence nowadays, but we live in a city with one of the highest rates in the US. I'm so angry for our ruined life. For the fact that my soon-to-be ex is a damned coward. For the pain my daughter is going through. Edit to address the most common comments I see. 1. I'm not looking for advice, just venting. 2. The divorce is not finalized yet, hence soon-to-be ex. He is stalling in every way possible because finances led him. We were/are reasonably well off, and it was found out during the process he had a whole separate account for his amorous exploits. 3. My daughter's therapist is court-mandated, and I cannot change anything about it until there is a verdict reached at least. Maybe longer. Family relationship conservation was/is the main goal of it all, And basically, the therapist wants daughter to maintain a positive relationship/outlook on soon-to-be ex despite everything. Holy crap, what a nap. Him saying how long he's been in prep is basically admitting how long he was cheating for. I hope you're okay. Well, she says in the beginning it's been at least 7 years of him doing the unprotected hookups with men, and he says he's been on prep for 3. So, he was semi-having safer sex at the end. Which likely means he had a scare at one point and started taking prep to protect himself, not Opie. Never cared about her well-being. Prep is relatively new, and not everybody knows about it. Especially somebody who is in the closet and likely hasn't had courage to discuss gay sexual health questions with his doctor. Ugh, I hate people. The audacity of him to act like a victim is making me upset. He's acting like you were the one cheating. You hit the nail on the head. His first reaction was, I am the way I am, and I can't help you. You can't shame me for my preferences. He didn't even deny it, just went straight to saying that he gave me a comfortable life and a daughter, and that he deserves to feel happy too. Which is fair, but it wasn't like he was sponsoring me whilst I did nothing. I built a small business from scratch. I put in many good words so he would have faster, better promotions at work. I hosted the damn barbecues and cocktail parties so he could impress his colleagues. Give her time. It hurts to find out your dad's a gross cheater, so she's probably just lashing out at anyone nearby. It'll take a lot of time even with therapy. Exactly that, and it makes sense she's lashing out on her mother, especially since that is often the case, that the child lashes out at the parent who doesn't deserve it from an outside perspective, but is actually the safer option to do it. It's his subconscious protective mechanism, because they know subconsciously or not that this parent will not withhold their love and affection from them even if they lash out. She just witnessed firsthand that her father's love for a person can vanish from one day to another. She has a lot of negative and complicated feelings to deal with, and likely doesn't really understand it herself. It needs to come out somehow. Yes. My dad was a selfish POS, but deep down I knew he'd abandon me if I wasn't on his side. So my stupid teen brain made my mom the bad guy. She never ever let me go a day without feeling safe and loved, no matter how mean I was to her, and I eventually saw that. It takes time and so much patience. It's not fair. My heart hurts for Opie, but if she stays strong, the daughter will come around. The girl can't possibly understand what's happening.
Like I took my hips out.